All right. Hi there. Owen here. I hope that you are doing well. I hope you are staying safe and healthy. Today, we are going to talk about the freedom myth, the myth of freedom. We're also going to talk about my nerdy passion and what the two of these things have to do with each other. So, before we get started, um, join the Abundance Hackers. Join the Abundance Hackers group. Do it right now. Go on Facebook, search for Abundance Hackers, join the group. I'll put a link here in the chat as well. We'd love to have you. If you're watching this, I'm going to guess that you're an Abundance Hacker and you should join us. More to come on that. So, let's talk about freedom, right? I today am having even more conversations with friends I know, people I know who are now facing either significantly lowered time at work or even losing work altogether. And whether some of them have been dealing with this for a few weeks now, some of these people are just dealing with it now, and some are just thinking about the prospect of like, oh my God, what does happen if my job goes away, if I lose my job? And what does life look like when it's not like there's another job to go to, right? It's like sort of what happened in the Great Recession. What does life look like when just going back into another work routine is not available? And I get it. I get that that is a really frightening prospect for a number of reasons. But I'll tell you, from my experience, when I left the corporate world to start out my own business, I will never forget it. I think it was like a Tuesday. It was a Tuesday morning, and I got up. I think it was just the first week after I had left, and I had been working 9 to 5 schedule for many, many, many years. And I got up and I looked around my room, and I realized that I had nowhere to be. There was nothing on my schedule for the entire day. And on one level, I was like, oh, this is cool, right? This is awesome. This is everything that I wanted. And on the other side, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, what am I supposed to do with all of this time, right? It felt a little immense. Like, there felt like a bit of a pressure about it. And I remember, like, at some point, I could sort of just like barely sneak from my room into the living room. It felt like just, it sounds crazy, I know, it sounds nuts, but like the pressure of all this time and what to do was just really closing in. And it got even worse. I went out to take a walk, and here I am walking on the sidewalk in the middle of the day on a Tuesday, when this has always been a day that I've been, was either in work or I was in school for my entire life, right? And now here, everybody else is like on a different schedule and they're all working. And it felt very strange. It felt a little like I had sort of left reality at a bit, you know, on a bit of a different cycle than other people. And it's a weird feeling. It was a weird feeling. It felt kind of directionless a lot of the time. Um, and I think that caused a lot of the stress. It felt really stressful to have that much time on my hands in many cases. So many times I could just sit, like I would just sit down, right? I think I mentioned this once before. It's easy to get into a binge on Netflix when you've got all this extra time because in a way it can structure your time. So why, that was the deal. Like I realized too at that moment that I had been used to somebody else giving me my structure. And then when I didn't have it felt awful. It was super stressful. It was directionless, and being directionless made me feel bad, and I was unproductive, and that also made me feel bad. So yeah, I needed some structure, and I didn't have it. So why is that so important? Why is structure like that so important? Why do we like routines? Why do we love routines? And this one's a little twisted because I'm somebody who's very big about freedom, right? Freedom. We all gotta have freedom. We all gotta do what we want. But even us as humans, we kind of have a hard time with this concept. We kind of don't like to have a lot of choices. Like that's the whole concept of the blank slate, right? Of standing before just a big white piece of paper, or that blinking cursor syndrome, right? With all the possibility in the world, we're imaginative people. I'm sure you're an imaginative person. But yet, why does that happen? Why does that happen? Because with all these possibilities, it means there's so many possible choices. We have to choose, right? We have to choose. And choosing takes energy. It takes some thought, and it takes some getting involved. And it also takes some knowing what you want, which is often tricky. So we like to have fewer choices, right? We like to make fewer decisions. When you've got a job that you go into every day, you've got your drive to work, you've got your office, you have your meetings, you drive home, right? The course of your day. When you have all of that, that eliminates a lot of decisions about what you need to do with your waking 16 hours during the day. But when you've got all this free time, then that's a lot of decisions that you need to make, right? That's a lot of decisions that you have to make about how you're going to structure your day, what you're going to do with your day. And that can bring in a lot of questions about how you feel about how you're choosing to do all of that or not. And I get it. It is so stressful. It is so stressful. The myth about freedom is that it's not free. Freedom isn't free. It's also not new, right? It's something that you have now, right? You have all of this option. You have all of this opportunity in front of you. If you're home, or you think you're going to be home, instead of out doing your normal routine. Actually, everybody's not doing their normal routine anymore in one way, shape, or form. But so with this, you now have this responsibility, and it's sort of been thrown on you at the moment in a big way. If you are stuck at home all day, this is not what you used to do. Like you are forced with facing this at the moment, and that kind of makes you lucky. Actually, it makes you extremely lucky right now. It's making a lot of people lucky, and it's going to make you very lucky too, because having this freedom and having to make these choices is not something new. This is not something that has just happened to you. You've actually always had this. Crazy idea. When I was doing the work in the corporate world, and I had my daily 9 to 5 schedule routine, on a level, right, or at least many levels, I wanted to do that. That was my choice. My choice was to engage into this routine. My choice was to willfully and actively engage with this routine and everything that comes along with it. Just as you in the past have done that exactly for whatever job that you have or had, or what you were doing before these quarantines began. You were also making this choice to engage in this over and over and over again. And that's an active choice. That was how you were using your freedom. Now things have changed that is not an available way to use your freedom at the moment. And frankly, there are many better ways as well too. So this is nothing new, but it's just a situation where you might have to get up and get it, right? But at the very least, you get to get it. You get to have this. Like, this is an amazing time to really start taking a look at just your day. Like, makes so much difference what you do in just one day. Quick side note on this. Like, this is something that, for me, look, I'm a known procrastinator. But I was notorious for it growing up. It drove my parents crazy. It drove them insane. And, a lot of my mentality has always been sort of like, well, yeah, we'll get a big project done all at once at one time. And I was never really much of a do things gradually kind of guy. And it caused me a lot of problems. It's when I figured out about doing something just a little bit every day, but making sure you do it every day, that changed an awful lot of things for me. So, what you do in a day can have huge impacts on your life. So choosing what you're going to do in this day it's a gift, right? It's a gift. Yeah, it comes with some extra responsibility, and yeah, you'll have to think about it. And sure, yeah, you can take a week and just relax while the world comes crumbling down. But at some point, take this time to really think about what would you fill your day with if you absolutely could. And the truth is that you absolutely can fill it with whatever you want. So, all right, nerdy passion, right? I I am an avid player of Magic: The Gathering, the collectible card game. I got into it when I was a kid in the '90s, and I stopped playing it for many years, and because I think I really wasn't that very good at it, to be honest. And I got back into it, I don't know, about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and I've really been enjoying it. I've been playing it a lot. I've been going to some tournaments, and a couple years ago, I had this opportunity to coach a team of kids, like I want to say between like 8 and 13, to go to this big international tournament that happened here in Los Angeles. And it's such an amazing experience. Like, I particularly love watching kids play this game. I sort of describe this game as like chess with cards. There's strategy to it, and then there are rules to it. And anyone of any age can play this game, and anyone of any age can beat somebody else at this game. Like, I have had my butt handed to me by 8 year olds at this game more often than I would care to admit. So it can be done, right? The game is it is based on game theory. It's all just game theory, and the whole idea of it is that you are creating options. You're playing cards, you're making interactions so that you can create options to advance yourself in the game, to make to get an advantage in the game. And whether they're specific, whatever the advantages are or not, doesn't really matter. Getting an advantage is important. And the idea is you keep creating opportunities to create more opportunities, to create more opportunities until you can create the opportunity to win the game. And that's the way it looks at it. And it's amazing to watch kids play this game and to get their head around this is pretty kind of a mind-blowing concept when you think about it. Of that, you're in the driver's seat. There are many, many different directions that this can go, that this game can go, or that your day can go, or that your future can go, or your online business, wink, wink, right, can go. And it can seem like such a daunting task at first, especially if you've never done it. If you've taken your freedom to subscribe to a different routine, a different program, a different system. You always have the option to create more options. Unlike the game, there is no zero sum in life. So you always have the option to create more options. But you have to create the options until you get the options to win your game, go to the next level. So, create some options. This is how you deal with the stress. If you take a look at if the pressure of being home all day, if the pressure of having nothing to do is really weighing you down, then create an option. And I'm not talking about, create a gigantic business in one day. I'm not talking about create 50 tons of ice cream, although that could be an awesome thing to create in this time, right? The option for that. That's a great option, I guess. But, take a look at what's a simple thing that will make you happy today? What's a simple thing that will help you, drive your passion forward? That will help you find your passion if you don't know what it is. What's a simple thing that a simple option you can create for yourself today that will allow you to create the option of going to bed believing you did an amazing job today, that you feel good about what you did today, and that you feel like you're on a direction, that even though the world is burning down around you, maybe, that you feel awesome about what you did today. Create that option. All right? Thank you. Join the Abundance Hackers. Search Abundance Hackers on Facebook. I'll put a link in the chat. Thank you. I will talk to you again real soon.